reading from the writings of Rash, the article Y is Shabbat, called Shatin. What you can find stud materials and systems. You can also send us questions. If anyone asking a question, study hall is asked to stand up, hold microphone close to his mouth and speak loud and clear. So again, the writings of Rabash and Hebrew, it's page 865, second volume. Why is Shabbat called Shin or Shabbat? Work it is written in that what is Shabbat? Shabbat, why is it called Shabbat? It is because that dot ascended and her light shines at that time. She's crown fathers who are of Sanin to be one, and everything is called Shabbat. That is together with the fathers are called. Shabbat has the letters Shin daughter, since the three letters V in the Shin imply the three fathers, and she who is called Ba daughter crowns in them. It is also written there. The meaning of the matter is dot wherever it is the heart of the I, that is it contains, which is called eyes, and it is called B daughter, as he said, keep us like people of the eyes, because she is the heart whole eye she's called. But that is there are three colours in the eye, which Ariat, the fourth colour, is a black dot, which isn't only in it. The called eye is revealed. This is why it is the heart, the main colour of the eye. There it says all those 6 days unite at a single holy point, which is, and all the days unite in her. This in a work asked, according to the above said, that 6 days of work imply, said which, Orf, said, and Shabbat implies. Mal, if this is, so then the 6 work days should have been more important than Shabbat, since it's a higher degree than he said. It is true that the 6 weekdays implies the run in, but the whole world is on governance of Mal, since Mal is called the assembly of Israel, which means that she contains all the souls of Israel, and anything that is not present in Mal is not revealed in this world. However, as long as there is no unification between Zanin and Mal, meaning that the abundance of Zanin is not extended to yet it is called week day. However, Shabbat is regarded as unification, meaning that thing unites, with which means that all 6 of Zanin illuminate in Mal. This is why she is called a Shabbat of holiness, since the Kad holiness or Zanin is extended to weekday, means that they were separated from each other, because Mal, who is the vessel that receives the abundance for the lower ones, the receiving Mal is in disparity of form from the giver, who is Zanin. El ones must be fit to receive the abundance wants to bestow upon the, meaning to be an equivalence of form to work in order to be. Still, why we were given the 6 work days to correct ourselves through work in Torah, and to the extent that we engage in bestow, to that extent each one corrects the root of his soul above, in so it will work in order to bear. It follows that through the 6 work days Mal is corrected by the lower ones, and then Mal is already in equivalence of form with Zanin, and the abundance of Zanin extended to. For this reason Ab is regarded as Mal, and is more important than the 6 week days, although the 6 days imply Thain, which is a higher degree than Mal. However, all the degrees are measured by the extent to which they bestow upon lower ones, since on the 6 work days are in the midst of the work of correcting into working in order to bestow. Pin cannot still bestow only on Shabbat when the work over his completed. Shabbat is considered more important because then the degree of Zanin shines to the lower ones through the correction of Mal. This is why Shabbat is called secret of the one, which is the unification of Zanin and Mal through equivalence of form Shom. This is why she's called a Shabbat, or peace, meaning that Shabbat is cons, meaning that it is considered that on Shabbat there is already peace between Zanin, regarded as the giver and regarded as the receiver. F is already corrected into working in order to bestow, and there is no separation between them whatsoever. For this reason it is called a blessed Shabbat of peace, or then the blessings are extended to Mal and to the lower ones. For this reason Shabbat is more important than the 6 work. I say it to Creator said to them, fools who toiled on the eve of Shabbat will eat of Shabbat. He who did not toil on the eve of Shabbat, where will he eat on Shabbat? This means that the Shabbat Meal is regarded as a reward for work. If a person did not work, from where will he rewarded without work? It is possible to receive alms, giving or a gift, but not a reward. Reward pertains specifically be in return for work. This is why the Creator said, "Them he who did not talk on the eve of Shabbat, where will he eat on Shabbat yet?" This is truly perplexing. Why did the Creator say, "Who did not toil on the eve of Shabbat, from where will he eat on Shabbat?" After all the Creator can give them as alms giving or as a gift. The answer is that without work it is possible to enjoy meal due to the known reason that in order not to have bread of shame upon the reception, pleasure a correction was made, hold restriction and concealment on upper light and the delight and pleasure that the Creator wishes to impart upon created beings is not revealed. Instead, through labor, the virtue of to we obtain the vessels of to that extent the concealment is removed and it is possible to receive the delight and pleasure. But before we obtain vessels of Kisto is possible to enjoy the purpose creation, which is the delight and pleasure. This is why there is no point saying that the Creator should give him as a gift or his alms giving, since there will certainly be shame there, and this shame spoils taste of the pleasure. As we see in corporality, a person is ashamed to eat the bread of shame specifically through labor. Here the labor is to turn the vessel, the reception with which man was born, and to provide for himself vessels of his stow which are against nature, and anything that is against nature hard to requires great efforts to obtain vessels of high. So it was said about this, he who comes to purify is a deal it is without his help person has no chance of being able to obtain them. Now we can understand that the 6 work days constitute the matter of making vessels, opho, which pertains to said because the degree of the is due upon in order, for who receives the abundance from Sanin to be able to give to the lower ones. We must correct mal into be a giver like Sanin. This is called unification equivalence or form. For this reason the 6 work days are called days without holiness, due to this work of emerging from the will to receive for oneself and admitting it into K, meaning that K, that is the work, is to make the secular holy. Although a person corrects one quality each day, where the first day Sunday corresponds to the quality, second day Monday to the quality of etc. Still each correction does not become apparent right away. Instead, when all 6 days corrected, the Shabbat becomes apparent other words. As long as the procession work of 7 days has not been completed, the state of Shabbat does not become apparent in person. This causes man not to see or feel if he's advancing work or standing still in the same state as when he began work. Sometimes a person sees opposite that he has regressed before he began the work of as though he had more passion for and work, and now he sees that his motivation for the work has weakened. So, because each week is considered one degree, in the middle of the degree it is impossible to see the situation as it truly is, for it is like a turning wheel where that which was below before ascends upward and that which was above descend, and as a result of all the machine moves forward only in the end the work. Meaning when Shabbat arrives it means he has completed 6 work days that pertain to this Shabbat. Then it is considered that set of vessels have entered mal. This is called Shabbat. For this reason, although the 6 work days belong to San, they still do not shine in mal, because the heart of our work is in mal, as it is written to correct world in the kingdom mal of sh. Lord, it follows that the work of the vessels is to reject the will to receive for oneself and install instead the will to bestow. This is called the work of weekdays, which is the correction vessels. This work is forbidden on Shabbat, because Shabbat is called time of dining, when the light can already shine inside vessels. This is why it is written did not toil on the eve of Shabbat, meaning he did not prepare vessels of his. And from where will he eat on Shabbat, since he has no vessels where the meal which is the delight and pleasure and Clo by this we will understand wha asked why can he not give them the meal, as a gift or alms, giving since with a gift or alms giving there are no vessels of pistol there, where the delight and pleasure can enter due to the restriction we find that Shabbat is called a gift as Jus said that I Lord sanctify, you the Creator said to Moses I have a good gift in my treasury, whose name is Shabbat and I wish to give it to Israel bow and let them. No, this is perplexing. Why did he say who did not toil on the eve of Shabbat from? Where will he eat on Shabbat in the work? We should also ask he could have given them the Shabbat meal as a gift since Shabbat is called a gift, which means that it is possible to give the Shabbat even without work. However, we should ask about what our sages said that the Creator said to Moses go and let them know. Ask what purpose did he have to give them a prior notice about? If we understand that if we want something in return for the gift, then they should be notified so that they will meet conditions required giving of gift. Therefore it means that here, too, when he said go and let them know, must be demanding something in return. For gifts we should understand how one can ask for something in return for a gift, since if the receiver of the gift gives something it is no longer considered gift. We should interpret that when he said go and let them know he gave them the awareness that since he wants to give them a gift there was fear that it stolen from them. Therefore the giver of the gift requires that they would make a safe place for the gift where no one would bear the important gift away from them. Said the giver gift would not even be by them of the importance a gift, since those who should not hear would probably hear that this is an important thing and though evil to take the gift away from them. Therefore, in order for him to give them the gift he first needed to let them know that he wants to give them a gift, as it is written go and let them know. I will notify them importance of the gift so they able to enjoy the gift, and he let them know that they should do much preparation for the gift so it is kept from the external ones to prepare place for gift. It follows that the condition he had set in order to give them the gift was that they would prepare a safe place for gift. This is not regarded as giving a gift in return for the preparation. What is the keeping of external ones? It is that if they vessels of bestow in these vessels they will receive the Shabbat, which is called a gift. This is called keeping from the external ones whose whole GP on the vessel reception. Not so with vessels or bestow from these they run away. This work of preparing the vessels is called the weekday, where on each day we must admit the implied vessels into the Seraph Sanine, which are the work of Bol is completed. The light of Shabbat arrives, which is called a meal, and it dresses in the vessels that they acquired during 6 work days. Follows that the whole revelation of the work is apparent on Shabbat, which is called the meaning of one called the vessel of recep has been turned into bestow during the work of the 6 work. Is the work of the vessels of pisto that they acquired during the weekdays enter or Shabbat. This means that the fact that Shabbat is called that shines in goodal greatness due to the preparation work prior to the reception of the gift time, the light of Shabbat, which is called the gift enclo in these vessels of St. Then the external ones have control, because the vessels of reception to which the external ones grip are absent. Hence Shabbat is called, and all the judgments pass away from. This is why a gift is called Shabbat, since the Creator did not give the Shabbat in return for labor, but he gave the Shabbat gift. The reason why we need to work during the 6 work days is in order to make a place for her, meaning a safe place where the external ones cannot gry her. On Shabbat the vessels of Beeth, though, have already been corrected, and they flee from a place where this that the vessels of Baal. For this reason Shabbat is called over the external ones run away from the K of the Shabbat when everything shines in vessels of Mo, because of the preparation during the 6 work days. To the above we should interpret what is written. Moses will rejoice with the gift of his share, should understand why it is written he who hates gifts shall live. If so, then what is the meaning of mercies? Will rejoice with the gift of his Isach, if he who hates gifts shall live. The answer is, for you have called him a faithful servant. What a faithful servant it is, as S said, be as slaves serving the not in order to receive, reward meaning that all of one's work is only to bestow and not to receive anything, it follows that the fact that he does receive is because the Creator wants to give him, thus his reception is called receiving in order to, as though follows that the gift he's receiving is not because he wants receive for himself because he wants to be, since it is the will of the Creator to do, could he therefore accept delight and pleasure to satisfy his wish, since he was to the light Creator. But what does the Creator need? Certainly it is for the purpose of creation to be carried out in full, therefore he accepts the king's gift in order to please the king. This is the meaning of the words, for you have called him a faithful servant. Now we can interpret of the Tsar, which asks what is the Shabbat, and replies, since the three letters V, SH imply the three fathers, and is called but daughter, she crowns in them, since in her is the majority, the as it is written, keep us like pupil of the eye, which is the heart of the eye. There are three colours in the eye which are, and the fourth colour is a black dot, which, here, in the three waves, each way implies the 6 work days, which is the time of work a person must provide for himself, vessels of bestow. Indeed, each and every day a person must walk on 3 lines by the 3 letters in shin, in other words by walking on the right and left. Each day we count the middle line, which consists of both. In other words, we begin to walk on the right, called the state of holus, and then shift to counting, begins to count. The prophet has gained the labour. Afterward he returns to the right. Through this turn of left and right we arrive at the middle line, born out of the 2 lines through the work of the 3. There is to the Isin of Shabbat, where Shabbat is called the dew, of which is black, which is called a black dot, since the restriction was on mal, which is called the receiving vessel. For this reason the light does not shine on her own face, however, through the correction of the 3 veils, which is the work on the 6 work days. In their 3 lines she can receive the light that belongs to her face, which is the light of she is called, but where I is called the black dot light of is revealed. This is the Shabbat through the work days. The Shabbat appears. Jot. Questions. Yes, very complicated article. It has many details in it, but maybe principle of what does it mean to keep from the external ones, that this gift cannot be given unless you prepare a way to keep it from the external ones, that this gift called Shabbat will not exit the vessels of Shabbat, and so we won't lose it. Or is it possible to lose it? You simply do not receive it if there's no preparation. Not receive it, yes, but if we receive it, then there were chattering, there is a preparation of vessel of pistis, so that it possible to receive the quality of pistil, yes, and if not, what does it mean? That it will go to the external ones. If we don't have the preparation, then don't receive. If we don't receive, we don't receive, but if we do, then goes to the external ones. How is it possible to receive it if there's no preparation? There is no in that precede the Shabbat, mal, that there be light in them. Therefore we can make an action so that the light will enter 6 days of work, but it's not that mal will receive it. All the corrections are toward mal. To me seems not quite clear. What does it mean that there is work done with receives it, working with meaning adapting ourselves, and if she can be a giver, then she can receive from him, connect to him. No, what does it mean to defile, shamat, to desecrate? The Sabbath means that you haven't prepared a certain cieli that can receive through equivalence of form with the light, and then the light enters vessels of reception. This is called desecration of Shabbat. Light can be revealed in vessels that did not undergo preparation. It is not revealed before the vessels are prepared. Right, no, before the preparation, essels, no, but if you want it revealed, then this is called a desecration. Okay, why is it important for the Creator that a Shabbat will be for us as a gift from the Creator and not a reward of work? I think we don't have the possibility to work on weekdays in order to prepare ourselves for the reception of Shabbat. It will nevertheless gift if I do not do the work. Seemingly I will not receive the Shabbat as the key. Actually it is a reward Shabbat reward it's not a gift one who didn't labor in Shabbat eve. What will he eat on Shabbat, meaning he won't have the vessel to draw the light of Shabbat into. So Shabbat is a reward, it's not a gift from the Creator. You're correct from this perspective. We're talking not about result, but rather a work you receive the preparation of the CLE for Shabbat as a work, or reward as a gift, or as a reward. There. Yeah. Continue. He says that here I have to finish the work of the week in order to receive the Shabbat. I assume that this work is to prepare the safe places, but how do I know that indeed I finished work of the week, that indeed I prepared my vessels as they should be for thee? If you still don't feel in what vessels you are in, then it's not about you. Only if I'm inside, it's a system of bestow there I truly know that I'm ready to enter the Shabbat. Yes, can I ask another question? This actually only on Shabbat. It's possible to have a coupling by striking, or coupling in general only on Shabbat, and in the middle of in the week. In weekdays only prepare vessels. Yes. What more? Yeah, I want to ask in relation work of the vessels. He writes that seemingly all work is on extracting the will to receive out of the vessels, and instead it should be a will to what exactly are vessels of bestow then? Because it turns out that there's no work on them. Intentions in order to bestow, intentions in order to receive vessels for a result, or it actual vessels. What is it a will to receive? The question now is how do you use it in order to receive, or in order to bestow? If it is a will to receive, why does he write that we need to extract to eject the will to receive for one cell from the vessel so that it will become a will to bestow? Yes. So what exactly happens to these vessels? Transcend these vessels with an intention to bestow, and then, in order to receive, disappears, and you have to then correct the vessels so they are in order to bestow. In order to bestow still considered working on the vessels, or it's no longer vessels working on vessels at work on the vessels. Why does it turn out that we have 6 word days, though one works on the vessels, that there you discover vessels of reception, and you turn them into vessels of bowl, a vessel of bowl called Shabbat? That's excly the point. It seemingly turns out that the vessels are still well there. You don't have any work anymore. You just they're given to you as a gift. It's not under your control, these vessels of Bao. So what is the work on of Bao then? If you have no control, there you demand to have that state called Shabbat. So from the side of the person, it's only to demand that he will have vessels of Mo, and then the moment you are vessels of pistol longer in his hands, not in his hands, but you have to take into account that in each day of this the 6 work days you prepare yourself for Shabbat. What do meaneth moment you are Bao, there's no work there. So what does it mean to Bao? It seems like all of the work is in the 6 work days. The issue is that indeed the whole work is on Shabbat. This is what we want to reach. All the time we want to reach Bao, but now it turns out that, seemingly, this Shab, those V of P, actually a gift that you receive. You accept them as a gift, because you didn't have that before, but you accept it at once. The reception of Shab at last. Question: the moment that a person is rewarded with receiving this gift of vessels of pistol, from here on those vessels of pistol will become his work days, or does he go back to receive and he has to go through it again after Shabbat? Yes, after he receive vessels of, do we go back to the vessels of reception, or from here on you are on the next degree? Yes. So similarly all work is always to want vessels of Bao. This is what we do. Yes. What is the correction of a single quality that a person every day may a correction of a single quality of far as he gets to it our work? What is that in our work? Still don't know what we correct now. He says so long as you don't finish the procession of the work, a person cannot see and feel if he's advancing in work or not. And it's like a turning wheel here of ups and downs through which the entire machine advances, so we can't really understand or see if we're advancing in work or not. Yes, but in the end of the article says there is a certain advancement to right and left, and the person has to count. He starts counting the profit that attained through his labor. I heard you say more than once that at the end of every lesson should see if we advance more a connection between us, and at the end of every day we need to check if we are more connected, etc. So how should we? Then how? What is it possible to measure advancement? Or we can't measure advancement to measure progress for the turn of the wheel. We still can't. What does he mean that a person should go every day on the right and then move to counting? What is this matter of counting the profits? So try to be on the right and then see how by that you correct. Left at a certain point in time a person can testify if he made a correction or not. He can discover that can. Yes, this is called what will he eat on. Shabbat continue. That this is a day in the week where go he does right left and right this considered work on a weekday to continue on what is counting the profits. Is it worthwhile to allocate time to this, to do it according to whatever just pops in your head? This counting of the profit shifting to the left or every day at certain time that a person decides on. However you're capable for now. Okay, to continue on Shabbat we don't do this inner work right. How do we know? Or maybe that's not for us here to say. It's a state of Shabbat, so I'm not going to do this right, left, right. This is Shabbat right where we don't do this. Right, left, right. So can we actually detect it in our state when to do it, when this inner Shabbat not yet, not. You don't know? Is oh well. It's, tell me if I'm right. We once learned that Shabbat is the ascent world. This is in fact the gift that actually reach completely different place, so it's work done from above art. From below, the work of the upper one elevates us, and if we're not ready then, we cannot ascend, we cannot reach that of Shabbat because vessels are. Already is that correct? It relatively. No. Well, I have a precious thing, something that I see as a precious thing, and I keep it with all my power. Let's say my daughter, and I feel that at a certain point it is taken from me. This thing, even though I keep it with all my power, mean that I don't know how to keep what is precious for me. How do I keep what's so precious for me? Let's say very much feel that I very much want to keep and actually keep what is precious for me with all my powers and my skills and my desires and my prayers, but still this precious thing was taken away from me. So what is mean to keep what is precious for me means to be in connection with a Creator that will do this for you. What does that? I don't know what it says. Think how important it is for you, and how are you capable of promising the Creator for your work so that he guards. What does it mean to make a vow if you will keep it, will do this, and that let's see can. Yeah, right, we were given a 6 work days in order to correct ourselves by working in, and to the extent that we engage in soul, to that extent each and every one corrects in the root of his soul above, and so it will become in order to bestow. It follows that through the 6 work days is corrected by the lower ones, and then mal is already in equivalence form of thane. Then the abundance of thane extended to there are a few questions about it. Can you explain what here talking out? Here just like that what he wrote to you, he writes to you. Okay, ask what does it mean that to the extent that we engage in what does that mean to that extent each one corrects the root of his soul above in. Typically there is male, I don't know how to describe it, which is not corrected. There's no life there, and each one who engages in he performs corrections in mal. Yeah. Yes, what does it mean to engage in? Know that this provides a correction to, so I don't correct anything, I just engage, I make efforts to be and bestow. What does that mean? These are the corrections, these are the corrections, and each one in the root of his soul above in. Yes, of course, everyone root of his soul, nothing else actually correct. That's the purpose, a general vessel of the whole or humanity. What is he talking about here? I'm not clear. Each one in his personal. This is the process, the 6 work days. It's all the work until the end of correction. What does it repeat each time with each degree until the final correction, and again in, and the correction of the rin means that in it reaches equivalence with rin, that how we should understand it. K. Yes, thanks. It's written that Shabbat is regarded as, and the 6 days implies, and in so what is the first day Sunday. What's F is? That means a vessel, or is light and cle together, vessel and light together. What's special about this vessel? What is the difference between our Sunday and Monday it's the kind of light that exists in the first and in the second. What kind is there in Sunday? First, they what suitable for, or usually ascribed to, a bright you can turn at into whatever you want. So what do we do with it? What is the correction of the first day? All of the corrections on all days are to make a vessel of bowl out the outer, these qualities to use them in order to bestow, so that your bestow on Sunday won't be the same as your bestow on Monday. How do we get clear Sunday? The first day that you wish to use this here, of how is it possible to identify it? How is it possible to work with it? You still can't, hasn't become revealed yet. What do we need to do in order to? You have to continue as much as you can. To receive the forces from above. Okay, yes, good morning. Everything that happens from the morning here, both inside and out, is scrutiny. We are scrutinizing what's happening here, and I wanted to ask, is there a connection, or is it same thing in terms of a correction and scrutiny? What's the connection between correction and scrutiny? Usually the scrutiny precedes correction. The scrutiny to means that we need to first have an intention, meaning before the I need to have some intention if that is efficient, effective for the correction or not. Yes, can thank you. He told the friend that for instance on day 1 I use the C of which is a different thing than the work on Monday. I wanted to ask, what does it mean? I correct with the CLE of, or I correct that CLE of which works with light of how to relate to that bit we don't know yet. Do I treat as light, or as LU relate to as light? A light comes to you when you're in a state that you can receive it or use it correctly. Then light reaches you and you begin to use it to correct your vessels with the light of H. Thank you very much. For Africa, they ask out the texts. All of those 6 days unite in the meaning of one sacred point, which is you and all the days should. In it, how does that unity happen? The results from all corrections in 6 days reach Mel, and they accumulate there. From women, the state before Shabbat too, receive to bestow in order to bestow, and Shabbat already is to receive in order to bestow. Yes, it's possible to say that according to the kind of work they keep asking why 6 days called weekdays and not sacred days, secular, but not holy, because only Shabbat is called holy because only in it we can receive in order to be still. USA, Northeast USA, Northeast since time in spirituality doesn't follow the calendar. Then when do you celebrate the Shabbat? I don't recommend to think that way. Nevertheless, I do recommend to the days to the calendar of times that we have. So he continues and asks, is state where you pray 6 times and then you. This sometimes maybe he relates to how 6 days weekday are 6 prayers. Then there's a response no. From women from PT 23 it says that called in the black point appears light of what is that black point that Rash mentions regarding Mal. Is it illumination that leads to recognition of evil for us? This is Mal, the black dot in the eye, like the pupil that, as last question from 22, why do we never pause the lessons if the Shabbat something where that's suppose to for rest shouldn't the spirituality connect to the material we follow, what and before him all the other, just so I don't have any question about why do we work this way, or why do we things that way. Maybe to add from his question, action of studying is that not work. No, the study is not work, thank you, but it depends on which kind of study. If you're a student in university on Shabbat, usually you don't study. Okay, Garen. Oh, yes, I also want to ask about making vessel. For instance, now we're in a lesson. I heard you tell that the light builds CLE. We have to want is like was or say LE. When we read the article all of a sudden I had a thought, what's the right way to read the article? Because we discover that only light, or that only in the lesson light works on us most, and I'm assuming it's also when the vessel is built. So how what's the most correct way to relate to the article so that the light will truly make the vessels within us? I think that we can have a different approach each time. to how we receive article. I think that we should simply read and feel how it opens up. What does it, if ever we, what the Creator wants to convey to us, but we relate to it like this, that made the article we try to give ourselves to it as much as possible, and from feeling like, have questions about our spiritual development, we have some impressions that means that vessels are being made within us, because before that wasn't there, and then all of a sudden while reading, during the lesson, something new is built. Can we relate to it like that? No, but we do feel these actions, changes within us, we should try to feel them. No, when can we use links in a lot of names and titles here, and what do you get from that? To understand that we're working correctly, how we know that you're working correctly if you give it some name which you don't even know what it isn't, what it's related to, and what does it, when does it appear. It's not in actuality yet. Okay, you have to also ask first, or all before that friend, ask about a scrutiny, and the scrutiny precedes correction, what needs to be added to the scrutiny so that it becomes correction. When does the correction begin? Usually the goal, when we begin, the scrutiny becomes a correction. Yes. Now he writes like, we see in corporate that a person is ashamed of eat bread of shame, specifically through labor. Labor here is to the vessel of to make the labor that is above nature to reach the vessels of bestow. Now about the labor, a person not all feels comfortable in the will to receive, and but from his point of view feels like he gives, he makes an effort, puts in the labor. But if we want to reach the labor Rash talks about here, so what is that? It is written labor means an act which is above reason. And what is the effort of doing something above reason? Where's the other about the desire? Once there's a desire, a person does something that is against the desire. That's where the exertion begins. Yes, last question. We are studying, and I personally, I'm teaching some sports lessons, and I'm very meticulous with the students how do each and every move so they learn in advance in our study, where we learn from the upper one, and the upper one is hidden. How do we actually learn from the upper one, even from the eye? You do get exact instructions what to do, so how do you learn? This is done only by receiving a command from only that way. Each one of us is very different, and even though you seemingly hear from a single source, or you read the same page in the book, nevertheless each one receives it according to his nature. How does each one hear the instruction, the commands that are related to him? He hears it inside his soul, inside his desire, inside his mind, in all of his organs. How do you develop this listening device that we begin to listen to hear the we're studying? Everyone is asking, and this is how we advance. All in all, it's about being more sensitive to the voice that comes from above, things that happen in the 10-day too, of voices that come from above usually. Yes, what's the right way to listen to what's happening in the tea, and say, this teaches me, I've learned from that as much as you connected together, and by that you want to rise above yourselves, this actually elevates you. Thank you. Can question in the article he mentions matter of the gift, and we learn that one who gives a gift to his friend must inform him, and here he talks about informing about the importance of gift. So how do we take it to our matter? How do I make sure the other party is willing to receive who's the other party, the other sign? I'm talking about the friends in the tea. When I want to do something for a friend, or a friend wants to give me something, and we work in giving to each other like so, how do I know how to prepare myself when he informs me that he wants to do something, so that I don't lose what he's giving you? Study together, you will become closer and closer to each other, and this is how you understand each other better. And when you start to study together articles that speak about your internality, then you begin to discover and connect in your internality with each other, and this is how you learn advance. That's it. I'm sorry if it's a dumb question, but in our world, in the corporeal world of consequences, there are differences between things, difference between man and woman, rich and poor, other things, but Shabbat in nature seems like just another any other day doesn't seem any difference. What do we understand from that? We can understand that you understand that is, it all depends on how you keep these days, so it depends on the person. Yes, otherwise in spirituality there's also no difference. No, there is no difference. It all depends on Yes, no, can I well what we have a meet. Yes, regarding the gift he writes, and Moses is happy with his gift, and other hand the one who hates gift shall live. So what's the right attitude? Give. Well, we're talking about Moses then, that there is no issue of he who hates gifts shall live, because whatever he receives it from the Creator, that he was that you called him a faithful servant. So there are no gifts, there it's already dayan, and for us man in our case what's the right attitude to the gift? I don't know how to tell. You never saw that gifts are being given other than which it's accustomed to bring something to the common table, or in certain special holidays, so we battle that's it's CL, and less with regards to a corporeal gift like a bottle or something, but feeling that a person received the gift from Creator. What should be his attitude to the gift? He writes here that he receives the gift only because he wants to delight the giver. That's why he's willing to receive the gift. But what about the gift itself? He doesn't want the gift. He doesn't want it. It's not a gift. So what does it mean that he receives it only because he wants benefit the giver, otherwise receive it because actually I don't know, it's more of a psychological issue maybe, but that wouldn't have wanted to receive the GI. He doesn't need it, not that he doesn't have a need for it, but rather no, well, always gives us an advice to give gifts to your friends and to multiply the gifts of love, and through the gifts we make we pierce stony heart, and so on. So their matter of relating to the gifts correctly, what we receive we feel we receive from the Creator, friends, and so forth. Hence I ask what's the right attitude to the gift itself when I feel I receive it from the friend. Let's say correct relation to receiving a gift from a friend is when you feel that he has given it to you from the bottom of the heart, and then you accept it because by this you want to please him, so you accept the gift and you thank him by this. Yes, nothing more than that I'm telling you. We hardly use it. Only to I once made a gift AIT, which is sh with our silver armor ornaments. It was pretty expensive, that's it, but other than that I never gave more than okay guys, are we going to learn something, or can I try? And about what I tried to scrutinize, can I give an example and see if it's right compared to the right relation. Shabbat is like an end or correction, and we all want to reach at a state where we're all connected and in harmony and everything we learn. So if, let's say friends do a coffee duty, so everybody wants to reach Shabbat, where we're all connected and bestowing to society, and when they're preparing the coffee the 6 days till they give it to us, they're doing it not so we can give them compliments and say you brought us to the end of corrections. They're doing it not to disturb us, tiptoeing and making it the best, and it'll be tasty for everyone, and then they give out coffee, and that's it. They just wanted to bestow us what is a gift that they get, that they were bestowed. That's what a gift feels like. No, I spoiled the friends, and if so it's not flawed because it's in order to bestow. That's a sensation of a gift. It's like something not tangible, but it's an opportunity to bestow, and if you're successful, well, that's the gift. Like SM, is that like what to ask the K that true? Yes, you said that studying is not work, so what is work? No, it's not like studying is not work, but you can also call here gift what is work. Work is what is before you, in front of you, and you cannot do it because you have no desire for it whatsoever, and then finding the desire and doing the work as it is, or seeing it that you cannot approach it directly and do it above reason can get, is the work between us on Shabbat. Should it be different, then well, usually we should focus on pleasantness, and not that it will be as usual on Shabbat. We walk differently, we speak differently, etc. Externality, I know the rule. Question is the relations between in the 10. What's the difference between weekday to Shabbat in the relationships between us on Shabbat you try to think only well, only about good things, only about good things, but to sit a whole spade of the 10 yes, and on weekdays you can allow yourself some criticism and corrections. Is there a feeling of a result you get on Shabbat? It's a similitude of the next world. Is there a connection between everything like we worked all week? Now on Shabbat is there some relation to everything we went through this week? Try to think about it. Okay. Oh, key of Kabbalists, what does it mean, the state of Shabbat? Let's say they want to key, but and reach that state. So what is that state we should yearn for? It's a situation when there's nothing to correct. Everything is corrected. Everyone is in complete connection with each other, and in this way they go through it as if you're glued to the sky. We were saying that in Shabbat we speak in a different way, walk different way. How should we conduct our Shabbat and reach such a state as if we're at to the heavens? How should we know physically, externally? It's nothing. How do we do it? We walk more slowly. We don't argue, of course, under any circumstances. We don't hurry anywhere. We do everything as if we are on vacation. That's an externality. And internality, how can we keep the Shabbat in order to be in that state in the turn? It's the same. You need to have a good relation to each other, good connection with each other, to feel each other in a kind of mutual responsibility toward each other, and feel what is this thing, what is that atmosphere that we're here to the heavens as a 10, when you don't want the corporeal qualities to govern. You came for that wanted to us was thrown out of the system. Okay, you can't talk. Holland, good morning. G. Morning, brother. This turning of bestow into reception. Exactly, Pat, please. What is this turning of, let's say, bestow into reception? Bestowing in order to receive is this. What he's asking, yeah, how do you bestow to change? Bestow to reception, like it was written in article. When I bestow in order to receive, is this what it means? No, I mean to let's say to receive, let's say the gift. So that means we use a state of bestow, and the bestow turns into receiving. Correctly, what is this turning point? How do you get this? No, I don't understand. I don't understand. SOYR, wrong question, I think. Okay, thank you. Okay, in principle there's nothing more. Let's move on to the next part. Let's sing song first. A 4 A 4. But she all we are reading in writings of the introduction to the book of Zed. We are in number 49. The writings of introduction, book of Zed, number 49. He has been rewarded with a great light called the light of each of the 613 organs, and that fully shine in their own unique way, each as independent. Then there opens before here possibility to engage in each mitzvah according to its true intention for each organ. In the soul lights the path of each mitzvah related to that organ. Power of those lights he purifies the speaking part of his will to receive, and inverts it into a desire to bestow, and to that extent the point of the light of dress within him is built in its spiritual 248 organs. 365 tendons. When it is completed into a complete it rises and gresses in the spiritual world, of which is an immeasurably refined vessel. Therefore it extends a tremendous light to him, from called the light of, and all the elements of which are still vegetative, inanimate, related to him in receiving the light of forest. It is also called speaking OFA, since it corresponds to the purification of the speaking part in man's body. The value of that light and godliness is as the value speaking in the corporeal still vegetative animate, and speaking. This means that one obtains sensation of others in a way, measure of the light over the measure of the spiritual still vegetative, and animate is as the advantage corporal speaking over the corporeal still vegetative, inanimate. The light of Dresden here called the light of. Let's continue. I don't see that there are questions. Please, indeed, you should know that these I've lights received from the world of the light of any and have nothing of. The light of this is because the light of is only in the world. Of the light of is only in the world. Of the light of is only in the world. Of and the light of only in the world. As we said above, everything that exists in the whole appears in all the items, down to the smallest possible item. Th. All 5 qualities exist in the world of as well, although they are only. Similarly, all 5 qualities exist in the world, of which are the 5 parts. Of also there are all 5 qualities in the world, of which are the 5 parts. So it is in the world, of which are the 5 parts of the light. Of and so is in the world, of which are the 5 parts of the light. Of the difference between the worlds, as we've explained in the distinctions, between each are of the questions. Please all these changes here write, about what changes that he arises, from a person that is already performing. These corrections could he say or tell, or measure, changes while he's in a corporal world. For instance, how often do they take place? This once a month, every few seconds. It's not according to the calendar, that's clear, but person who develops these changes that he goes from, they can be very quick. One right next, other. What does it mean from morning till night, from morning till noon? You can put it this way, to he's comparing it to the still vegetative speaking in our world. These changes almost never happened, or it can happen within 10,000, 100,000 years. The still I didn't understand you. We don't see such changes in our world. Still vegetative, inanimate, not so quickly, right, very slow. And here he's describing the things as if they so. I'm sorry for the comparison, the simple comparison. But in the morning he's in, evening he's in, of which a huge difference is the way he's describing them. How can these huge changes affect the person's perception? Yeah, how does it change his way of life? How do I look in that he sees that reality changes so much? A person that's his world in this, he moves between discernment, and this way connects to higher and higher degrees of attainment. How does he reality, how does he understand life in a different way, and what does it change his observation about life? He understands more, feels more the force that surrounds everything. What does he understand about it? He knows it, he understands it, feels it, its purpose, its operations, discernments along the way, observations, and towards him. What does he understand about himself towards that force about himself that he is in it? Service, in the service of that force, yes. And what does he understand about others? And he can also help them as much as possible to know that force. Thank you. Okay, good. Let's go. So we are in 51. One know that the repentance and purification are not accepted unless they are totally permanent, so he will not return to fully as it is written. When is there true repentance? When he who know mysteries will testify this return the fully. Thus we have said, if one purifies a still part of his will to receive, he's rewarded with a of and descends in of. This means that he will certainly be granted the permanent purification of the still part in a way that so return to fully that he the spiritual world of a he will of definite purity and equivalence of form with that world. But as for the rest of the degrees which we have said are corresponding to them, one should purify the vegetative animate in speaking parts of one's will to receive, so they will clothe and receive those lights. Yet the purity does not need to be permanent until he who know mysteries will testify this return to fully. That is so because the whole world of AIA with all it 5 are actually only which relates only purification of the still, and the 5 are but the 5 arts of mal. Therefore Cindy has already rewarded with purifying the still part of the W to receive. He already has equivalence form with the whole of the world of however each in the world of receives from its corresponding phase worlds above. For example, these from the world of which is all, and the light receives from the world, of which is all, and the receives from the world of which all, and the light. For this reason, although he has permanently purified only the still part, if he has purified the remaining parts of his W to receive, even if not permanently he can receive, though not permanently, since when one of the parts of his will to receive awakens, he immediately loses these lights. He writes in a systematic way. There's nothing here that's new. Basically, what did you want? Truthfully, I don't understand why. What he's writing, because can't correct. The small part of the wall to see permanently, there's it, always gets stronger and you fall from all your degrees and you have to climb. Again, there's nothing permanent. Are you already certain that this is so from your own experience? That's what I feel. You feel okay, some people feel he's writing to you how it should be. If you haven't reached it, then wait. Know what you need to come to D. Can we reach anything permanent? I don't know. I'm trying to understand what he writes. Let's go. We are in 52 after he permanently purify vegetative part of his will to receive. He permanently rises well of where he attains the permanent degree of where he can also attain the lights of from the that are which are considered even before he has been granted with purifying the animate and speaking parts permanently, as we have seen regarding the world of I. Yet this is not permanent after he has permanently purified the vegetative part of his will to receive. He is already in equivalence of form with the whole of the world of to the highest degree is written above the world of Aya, because after he has obtained the purification vegetative, he's already in equivalence of form with the world of it, all of it, up to the highest degree. It's written about the world of Aya. Let's go. 53 after he purifies the animate part of his W to receive and turns it into a desire to Bao until he who knows all mysteries will testify that he will not return to Fy. He is already in equivalent form with the whirl of he rises there and receive permanent light of, and although the purification speaking part of body he can rise up to the and receive the light of that there, although he has not purified permanently as with, and but the light too does not shine for him permanently. But yes, what makes it permanent? It's not permanent and not permanent, but one stage that the one who testifies knows would he completes the vessel in coes 1, 2, 3, depending on which of you which coes. This is why it's called permanently. What prevents the descent back down? Why in some limb some moment that's it you fall back. I didn't understand. Permanent means that there no more the sense right. No return back. Yes, why what locks it there? I understand, because he you whole vessel and all the light that pertains to you that completely, and then there are no more descents in that vessel, so no more states. Yes, what does it know? He who testifies that knows the mysteries. What is that he knows the mysteries that will not return to folly. It's as if the Creator are signs about him. He will not descend from this degree. Yes, after a person receives that permanent state in a current in a certain state, so the awakening of the next stage is again the feeling of exile waking up in him. I didn't understand. If a person reaches a permanent state, it means that the desire is in its place permanently. That's his place. Yes, so the awakening of another desire from a higher degree does that awaken in part of man a feeling of an exile. There's not still in the he needs to be in what he finished now. He has a different degree feeling that there's a new degree he has to attain, so he's in exile from that degree. Which degree? From the degree that's pressing on him. Yes, this he had corrected, and that feeling that was in the previous degree, but in a greater quality. Yes, I want you what are those parts well to receive. How can you discern between them? You still can't discern them. What are those parts still? Vegetate, animate, and speaking. These are the parts in the will to receive. You can name them, you can give them numbers, you can whatever you want. Whatever you want. Let's say I could discern, so how would I call them except for still veget? No, how would they felt in me if I could feel? If you would name them like that, still vegetative, animate, in speaking, go on when one is rewarded with permanent purification of the speaking part in his will to receive he has granted equivalence of form from the world of, and he rises there and permanently receives the light of, when he is rewarded further he receives the light of, and the light of dresses in, the light of, and there's nothing more to, or here. Yep, item 55 we have clarified what we asked. In item 1 why does man need all worlds which the Creator created for him, what need has man of them? Now you will see that one cannot bring contentment to one's maker if not with the help of all these worlds. This is because he attain lights and degrees of his soul according to the measure of purity of his will to receive, and with each degree attains lights of that degree assisted in his purification. Thus he rises in degrees until he achieves the attainment's final aim in the thought of creation. It is written, said about the verse, he who comes to purify is aided. It asks with what is he aided, and it replies that he is aided, holy soul. For it is impossible to achieve the desired purification, thought, or creation except through assistance of all the degrees are the soul. Okay, what do we have today? Study. We have the study of the field. Let's go to that. We move to the next part. Lesson. We are reading in the study 10, part 10, item 77, study of the TF part 10, item 75. The words are afterwards, lastly, of the general S, of the general S, and it too is first hey, which are the three heys, hey, 3 in the first, 3 lines, cab 3 in the middle, 3 lines, 5 sorry 5 not 3 3 bottom lines, all 3 are internality. There's also another one in externality, and there are 3 different are divided in the above mentioned manner. Again, item 75. The words that the final of the general S is of general, and it too is first, which are the 3 he's in the first 3 lines, in the 3 lines middle lines, he in the 3 bottom lines, and all 3 he's are internality. And there's also another one in externality, and they are 3 heys, 3 other heys divided in the above mentioned manner. Item 75, explaining the final hey, general S, etc. like the first hey, which of 3 har, etc. is internal. Internality is of S. It is also a complete in 3. First also it is their internality necessarily discerned in her meaning of its own construction, meaning of its own construction. 3 HS of externality, which are cloth of the bottom one, which are the 2 final, and so the final of go bottom ones, which are 3 phases of the bottom ones, which are below the screen, and coarseness of the bottom hay of sad as it is below her, because the rule is that every lower one with respect to its upper one is always in a lower discernment, lower phase, because the latter of degrees never changes, and it is known that the one be below bottom is 76. The words of the indeed Ussel takes the posterior of sin into its internality, and it becomes in her so. It is here because the externality of the general sag, which did not have, which was not necessarily in its place, descends and becomes internality to this final he, which is mal of the general saga. Again 76. However, as Rachel takes bottom takes the posterior of sin as her internality, and it becomes mo in her so. It is here because the externality of the vai of the general sag, which was not necessary in its place, descends and becomes internality to this final he, which is of the general S7. The thing is that we explained that this mal of the general has 3 heys in her in internality, and 3 heys in her 3 ha in the hay of externality, and the hay of the bottom third of the externality, which externality of descended into to make for him inner. Again 77. Thing is that we explained that this mel of the general S has 3 hay in her in the hay of eternality, and 3 hays in the hay of externality third he bottom 1 externality, which is externality of this of descended into to make for him to become his inner as it is, known. 78. The resulting rule is that the first of the names, the name is the name, saga comprising t internal and external, and it is, called it has in it, called mal and it is called, externality of this mal is also, call 78, the words of, that the resulting rule is that the first, of the name is the first name, sa, comprising internal, and external and it is, called, it contains g, which are called, and of which are, called mal and it is, called the exality of this is also, called, item 78, explaining the resulting rule is that, the first of the name, s contains internal and external, called to thoroughly understand this rule, we need to understand difference between and to the place of division of a, b, and suit is presented in the words of the above with the name, sag which do not expand from tabo and below to ma. Is regarded as are, tastes this is regarded as that part of sac which expanded into mb of through the end of, its legs is regarded as dots and yes, with respect to the mean tastes it is explained there, first expansion of s which had the level of above, clothing had too, end on par with the of meaning above tab, of but, the dots of, s which was refined into the level of, only without clothing, of expanded from tab of and, below and connected there with the bottom, you see, the great difference between, the tastes which are the level of, upper which never connected, bottom, and the second restriction did not, go them at, all and the dots of sac which are only, the level of bina without clothing, of the root for the connection of, bottom with the first was may, meaning the second, restriction afterwards when the bottom, rose and the cupping in the nick of s, done. The compelling was initially, made on the records of tastes whose, level expanded from pay of s, through and it is discerned, name, aim for because they come from records, and, taste they have no record of the second, restriction in them called, nicodim and they regarded, from which is also, the from there, downward, emerged in the form of the bottom in, that you find three divisions here, concerning their connection of the bottom, with the first is the taste of sag, of which are up in which their level of ab in a manner of clothing second, two parts on the level of b because through tabu which is, it's there, still, no connection with the bottom only from its t blee and below, connection which is its v though, connection with the bottom done besides the above its being, explained that in wherever they bottom does not govern them at, all known that every discernment every phase in aught receives its corresponding phase in a find that, upper which are, in and in, clothing vesial, from, of which are the first expansion of sag, of called, tastes they never descended, below are the level of without clothing, of they are regarded, as and they suckle, from of which already descended below, but from the fars, of so clean of the bottom because, they too seul from the g of bina of, above tabo which are regarded as, hence the bottom 7 of Yusut are, already regarded as the bottom, in from the roots in as well, the bottom 7 of b, of are already, below the tabo main the of nick, arit, as and are regarded as its, name herein there are, two manners of division of and, of roots which are, all and which are all, men discerned as the flavours that are, extended from the flavours that taste of a, which have no connection to the in the root, bottom since, they are, the first, expansion of sag and where shine they lower, the bottom from, and all, and all, me suit although their g are clean as, well, from the bottom, in their roots in sag of they are, that part of sag that descended below the t blee and connected with the bottom, hence their illumination does not remove the bottom from the and this is the fundamental division between or however both and are divided into 5 and of themselves as was written above, concerning which is and it is also, so and then each of them is divided into, because of each one is regarded as, and as of each one is discerned as the bottom 7, below, the which are extended from the bottom, 7 of sag, of which, and I regard it is, me however there's a division between ab, or since in there are only 4 included in them, and in it was, said it is got in it, called, meaning which are, the 2 upper hays in, but third hay, whose externality already closed in z, of they are discerned as the me in, how although, every it has nevertheless been explained, that in the g of the level of finer there, is no control to the bottom here, in which, are and there are covered as well and, coupling is never, stops because of the level are, completely like, upper although they are, the cern and the whole difference between them is that, upper which are the level of up of, clothing are clean from the bottom hay, in the roots, in, which is only the level, of has a connection with the bottom, it root in it because it descended, below t of into the inner m and bone and connected there with the bottom, hay which is called and its and the mal, in it is called, and the externality of, this is also, called it is already been explained, that, the bottom hay of the level of bina, already has connection with the bottom, hay, in because they are extended from their corresponding phase, in, hence which are the udk and hara, filled with udin, this feeling of you implies coarseness of the first, restriction however. The of s already has the filling of, filling, indicates the screen and coarseness of, the first, restriction hence v in hurries, called it was said in hurries called and the externality of is, called these 2, plough, are 2 forms of phrases of, expanding in the place of, the which are, the main carriers of the name, Namer is interpreted to Zoharazan, acronym for son and daughter meaning, form meaning discerned is in bekorseen, so ls, from and, below which are, her and her, or also the garments of from externality expanding at which are, externality, and they are regarded as the 2 bottom, one meaning from and, below which are the, inner which said being closed alone, did not become clo or garments of, because they are internal and 2, external of this mal which, became the close of moin in, it. Now, we have a report concerning, material hello friends we want to update, that tomorrow we are beginning to, study the study materials for pass, over we will have more than, 30 days of studying, materials, mainly it will be the writings of Rash, some articles, of and from tomorrow we'll have Passover booklets we study, also the for Passover so you can take your booklets of for Passover so that's starting tomorrow our broadcasts. Today now we will down meal at 11:45 we'll have the lesson, preparation at 12 no lesson will end, with a, some, foreign, have, spee, 2, toward, l, spee, la, centaur, for, should, march, anyway, spee, 4, shalom, and, dear friends, we are very excited and happy for this meal, the one that is our host, Kev today let's concentrate and integrate with them and connect for this meal go head. We are very happy and inviting the whole world the meal that we were rewarded with, are giving it to you for each and every one of you, and on this Shabbat lesson was devoted for the state of Shabbat, preparation for Shabbat, like said we jaded happiness and I want to raise yesterday we had a tens meeting when it ended and after the meeting we remain even more talk about a lot of topics I remembered, and there was people I didn't really want to meet, but I wanted to feel protected, but afterwards I felt that as much as my soul is protected, see the more I have a stronger clothing after such a protection I want to raise group is completely protecting each and everyone that is constantly praying for each and everyone, and we want to be part of that group and also to be a shield for each and every one of you. Quite over. Mind. E. 4.